Hi. I'd like to talk a bit about why no contact is the only way to get revenge on a narcissist. This is a very popular topic within the narcissistic support community. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on this topic. And the consensus pretty much is no contact is the only type of revenge. And it's really not even revenge, but to the narc it feels that way. They don't understand that you've gone no contact because you just really genuinely have no interest in them. They actually think you're doing it to punish them, and that at some point you're going to break. And you know what? Don't feel bad. Many of us have, because codependent people can become addicted to narcissists. Now, an empathic person might not have that problem, but if you're a codependent, you really could become addicted to a person. And so you might not be able to maintain no contact for long periods of time. In my case, I've been no contact for 10 months. This is the first time that I've been separated from my narc that I've been able to go no contact. In the past, I think the longest I was able to go was 2 weeks. So this is amazing. And not only have I been no contact for 10 months, I actually divorced the guy. And that took a lot of guts for me because of my religious beliefs. It was very difficult for me to make that decision, and I had to get a lot of spiritual counseling before I was able to take that step. But anyway, so back to this idea of getting revenge. So we have to understand that from a narcissist point of view, narcissistic supply is as critical to them as oxygen is to a non-narc. I'm going to say that again. To a narcissist, narcissistic supply is as critical to them as oxygen is to a non-narcissist. How long can you go without oxygen? I think that the human brain can go, 3 minutes without oxygen before there's brain damage? Well, how long can you hold your breath? I mean, I can't hold my breath for 3 minutes, but, you know, if I started holding my breath or I was underwater, being held underwater, I'd start panicking if I couldn't get oxygen. I mean, my only thought in my head would be, I've got to get a breath of oxygen. I wouldn't be thinking about anything else. I wouldn't be thinking about what am I going to have for lunch. I wouldn't be thinking about what movie am I going to see this weekend. I'm only thinking about getting air. And I'm panicking. And I think that that's how it is with the narc. When they're not getting that attention that they need, I think that they probably start panicking. And they get very desperate. And with my narc, I think that I've actually been witness to that, because I've seen times when he's gone for someone back in the days when we used to go to bars. I've seen him get very desperate to get attention from just about anyone. I mean, he would even flirt with females in the bar that I know he was disgusted by. And another thing is that he told me many, many years ago, I don't even know how he met this guy, but he said he had an email correspondence going on with a gay man, and that he allowed the online friendship to become flirtatious. He said out of curiosity. I think as a narc, he so enjoyed the flattery and the attention, even though he's not gay. I think he kind of played along with this guy, and that's pretty messed up. So anyway, so for the narc, this lack of attention is like a type of death. And you and I, because we're not narcs, we cannot relate to that. That just doesn't sound right. I mean, it doesn't sound like much of a revenge, really. I mean, yeah, we know that there'll be a couple of months of discomfort, but after a while you start detaching from someone. But for a narcissist, some of them can't go a few minutes without something. So We have to understand that. And once you understand that, you can begin to understand that that's why no contact truly is revenge. And a narc actually looks at it like that. They do not think that you're going no contact simply because you're done with them and you don't want them and you're not interested in even talking to them. No. They think you're doing this to punish them. Because they're projecting, because when they go no contact with you, that's what they're doing. They're trying to punish you, to put you back in your place, to get you to realize who's the boss, who's in charge, and to get the balance of power back in the correct proportion where they are the master and you are the slave. And so that's why they give you the cold shoulder, they ignore you. It's just to reestablish that control over you. And so they think your attempts to go no contact, that you're doing the same exact thing. I do know from my lawyer that when my husband got served with the divorce papers, he was very surprised. It caught him off guard. He wasn't expecting it. And I haven't heard from him since then. He spoke with my attorney only, and that was that. But I do know that he was a bit stunned. He wasn't expecting me to do that, and I have not contacted him. He's not contacted me. He's moved on to another relationship, and he's certainly decompensating because the woman he's involved with now is a grossly overweight single mom who is in nursing school, so she's not, she has no job. So it's very sad, and I know she's an ex-girlfriend because I know the names of all of his ex-girlfriends, and so he looked her up on Facebook because that's what he does. He's lazy, so he's going to go for exes. He's not going to try to start something new, but it's very sad. But anyway, so the no contact, they think you're just doing this to punish them, and so they don't take it seriously at first. And after a while, they may reach out to you. Of course, they don't take it seriously, so it's no big deal. Well, I'm just contacting you to find out, did you ever pay that bill? Or, are you actually going to give me my stuff that I left behind? Or, something ridiculous. It's just an excuse. But they're trying to test your resolve. How serious are you about this? And so you've got to maintain. You cannot give in. You don't write back and say, oh, you jerk, leave me alone. You don't do that. That's great, because to them that's narcissistic supply. I wanted to use an analogy to explain why no contact is so darn painful for these people, and they hate it. They hate it. That's why they will desperately do anything to break the no contact. Whether it's faking an illness, I'm having a heart attack, or my daughter's got brain cancer. There was someone recently that was dealing with stuff like this, or there's an emergency, I need to talk to you, whatever. They'll just come up with a bunch of stuff. The neighbor's cousin's dog's husband passed away, and I know you'd want to know, stuff like this. So you may or may not be aware, but a couple of years ago, a woman, a very sadistic, narcissistic woman named Jodi Arias, I think she's from Arizona, she, with malice, with premeditation, brutally murdered a guy that she was having a very disgusting physical relationship with. And let me just say, those that live by the sword die by the sword. If you're out there doing, the wild thing with crazy women, you are taking your life into your own hands, and he did not deserve death. I'm not saying that, but that man should have known better than to ever be with that woman. But anyway, so she, with malice, premeditated, brutally murdered this guy, and she was so sick, she took a picture of him moments before she killed him. And I've seen the photograph, and you can see the fear in his face. He knew this woman was nuts. But anyway, if you followed the trial whatsoever, she just loved the trial. She had such a great time because she was getting so much attention. And she, it reminded me a lot of the, Casey Anthony trial, which I watched that too. That's another one where she was just lapping it up. But you remember, she was found guilty, and then when they got to the penalty phase, she gave this speech to the judge about not wanting to die, and that, the death penalty is a better option because it actually would be worse for her. Life in prison would be harder for her, and that dying would just be so easy, and so life in prison would actually be harder for her. But I think at one point they put her in solitary confinement because she was disruptive. And I may be getting the story wrong, but I'm pretty certain I remember something like this happening, where she had to get her lawyer involved in trying to get her out of solitary confinement because she was going insane in there. Now imagine someone like her. She is an attention whore. She's got to constantly, and she'll do everything from being overly provocative to get attention, to acting like a victim to get attention, to acting dangerous. And we know for a fact that's real. That's not fake, because she killed someone. So this is someone that solitary confinement was just unbearable for her, and she was willing to do anything to stay in the general population. Now, why is that? Because there's no narcissistic supply when you're in solitary. There's not even a guard to talk to. There's no one to bat your eyelashes at when you're in solitary. You have zero contact with a human being. Your only contact with the world is the 6 walls, including the ceiling and the floor, made out of concrete, these concrete blocks. That's it. That's all you've got. That is your world. It's almost like a sensory deprivation type thing. For a narcissist, that is hell. Not the true hell with the fire and the demons and the souls of the damned, because at least there's people there. No, for a narcissist, the true hell is nothingness. And see, the problem is that inside a narc, that's what they fear they are, nothing. They feel nothing because they are so driven by their emotions. Because they feel nothing, they think they are nothing. You see, because they think emotionally, and if I feel nothing, I am nothing. So, I'm rambling. I'm sitting in my car, so I don't have notes or anything to follow along. And I hope that this made sense. But again, I hope that I've demonstrated to you why no contact is truly revenge for a narcissist. It doesn't feel very satisfying for the victims, and we don't get closure. And codependents and empaths are really big on closure, because we're always thinking, well, maybe I misunderstood, or maybe I was wrong. We have to stop that. So we have to just get over this obsession with having closure, because we're really not going to get it. We're just not going to get it. And that's unfortunate, but it's probably the reality. And remember that for the narcissist, their idea of hell is eternity with no narcissistic supply. And so you won't be able to take away all their supply, but you certainly can reduce it and make sure you're not part of that equation by removing yourself from it. And in that respect, you are getting revenge on them without lifting a finger. Thank you for listening. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Support everyone who's part of this community. This work is important. We could be saving people's lives. I have no idea, but I do hope and pray that people are able to get out of these toxic and dangerous situations, and especially if there's children involved. Thank you for listening. God bless.